So good afternoon or evening to everyone. I hope you're doing well. My name is Nat Mayotte. I am the creator of the Teen Talk program. I'm so happy you're here for this episode. I'm so excited to be talking about with Daisy Cedeno today. But before we even start chatting, Daisy, I want to remind you if you love YouTube and you visit different channels, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to make sure that you get notified of the next video. And that includes for me too. So, Miss Daisy, please tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Yes. Well, thank you, first of all, for the invitation. I am so excited just to be here with you and just to talk about the different topics that we're going to be talking about. And
Yes.
my name is Daisy Cedeno. I'm a multimedia journalist. I've been working in broadcasting for the past 25 years, from radio, TV, and also, of course, online media, digital media that they call it. And I'm also an author. I published my book last year, Who Do You Think You Really Are? It's about the way that we communicate with ourselves. The most important conversation that you should have every single day is the one that you have with yourself. So it's a lot about that. And also a little bit of my own journey as a bilingual Latina professional living in the United States for the past 25 years. And that's where I created my profession, who I am today. And I'm so happy to be here.
But more importantly, she can also add one more thing to her title. You are
Yes.
now a TEDx speaker.
Yes, I'm a TEDx speaker, TEDxCabarete. It was a fantastic,
TEDxCabarete, yes. And it's
yes.
been just over a month now that the event has happened.
Mhm.
And how are you feeling still? Like, are you still feeling all the things?
I have to really, I feel like in a bubble. Sometimes I feel like it happened. I have to keep looking at the pictures because it was like almost a year. The process was almost like a year. It was like talking to you, talking to the team, talking to the group, and just creating everything that happened in TEDx Cabarete.
Yeah.
So it's like a
And
bubble at the same time.
I think that people don't realize there's so much behind the scenes that happens just for that 12 to 14 minutes that you stand and execute, right? And what was like probably your favorite part of participating in TEDx?
Well, getting the first email, you've been selected. That was like the beginning.
Yeah.
That was the beginning of the journey, just getting the email and saying, oh my God, it's happening. Let me read it again. Let me get my glasses. It was the whole process of just understanding that I was going to be part of it. And yes, that was incredible opportunity. And that was the first thing. And then after that, it was just to meet you all, to meet the team, because it's like a whole team putting together this event.
Yeah. And I think that, one of the beautiful things is what for me as the organizer was to watch it all kind of come together and meet everybody in person because obviously with this digital online world we can communicate pretty much anytime anywhere with anybody and making sure that the connection was there in person was really an important part for me. So being able to physically touch everybody and hug them was
Exactly.
probably my highlight. That was my highlight, bringing everybody together.
Yes, and it's a journey because we start with this is what I want to be talking about. This is what my topic is gonna be, and then when you start presenting, you start like dissecting every single thing that is happening. You just learn stuff about yourself, and you're like, "Wow, I didn't think that was so like it still moved me, still emotional for me." So it was a journey
Mm-hmm.
just to present it first of all in front of the coaches, and then in front of the group. It was like, wow, I still feel like a something in my how would you say it, like inside me that is still working. It's still working even when you are in front of the doing the TED talk. You're still like, this is marinating. This is what I'm
Yeah.
presenting in front of you. It's new. I know I've been talking about this with my coaches. I've been presenting in front of the other TEDx speakers, but this is original because we don't write anything. I mean, we write, but we don't script. We don't do it like in a script. So, and we
Yeah.
didn't want to do it. It had to be very like natural. So
Yeah.
what you see in TEDxCabarete is like a treasure because it is presented in the moment like a new thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the thing that I don't want to use the word disappointment. Wasn't disappointment. It was that it was over so fast. Like
Uh,
I felt like everybody swooped in, did the thing, and swooped out. And I was like, I was left after that. There
hmm,
was a void. Like I missed everybody, the conversations, the messages.
yes, yes, yes.
There
There
was
was
this,
something. Hmm.
there was this sense of, oh, it's over now. So we have plans for 2026 to make sure it lasts a little bit
Yeah, I
longer.
was thinking, I don't know, I was thinking that I felt that we needed like a panel at the end, like a panel of this just happened. I think that would be so amazing if we can do something like that. I don't know if the
Yeah.
other tech talks do it, but at the end, sit down and just embrace each other's story and record that too for us. It doesn't have to go to the tech talk
Yeah.
platform. It could be something like
Yeah.
special for us. Just sit down and talking. And I know the people were gonna stay
Yeah.
if they
Yeah.
see that we all sit down and start talking, they will ask
Yeah.
because the people approach us after they approach us to ask
Yeah.
questions. So I don't know. I thought that something like that would be cool. But
I
yes, it
like
went
that
so fast.
idea. I'm making notes. I'm making notes.
It went
Awesome.
fast
It
because
went
yeah,
really fast.
yeah, it
So
went fast.
you clearly have a great sense of appreciation and love for communication. It's not
Mhm.
something for you that you take lightly at all. I mean, your whole talk was based on language communication, and it, even though for me it wasn't I'm not a native Spanish speaker, but one of the things I know is staying in a Spanish speaking country, I'm always trying. I'm always doing my best. And sometimes I don't have the right tense when I have the verbs, and I don't have the right, I use calor when I'm not supposed to say, I'm supposed to use another word.
Yes.
But I know that the people appreciate it. And I think how it resonated for me was coming from a country where French is one of the official languages. As long as you try,
Mm-hmm.
that's what counts, you know.
Yes.
And I remember I have an aunt who, God bless her. She would say to me as a kid, that's not how you say that word. And I said, well, do you understand me? And she goes, yeah. I said, then we don't have a problem.
Yeah,
Like
because
the
you were
the whole
defensive.
idea of
Yes.
accent
Uh
was like
huh.
a big deal. And I remember being like, it frustrated me because I thought, I'm saying the word not wrong. I'm just saying it a little differently. And you understand me, so there shouldn't be a need for criticism.
Exactly. Well, it all depends how it comes presented to the
Yeah.
person because I appreciate when somebody comes and tells me, Daisy, this and this, I appreciate it so much because that person cared enough and had the courage to come and tell me as an adult. Maybe you were a kid, it's a different approach.
Yeah.
But as an adult, I appreciate it. And I actually say thank you. Thank you because,
Yeah.
you could have just keep going with your life and maybe laugh a little and just keep going.
Yeah.
But you had the courage to come and say to an adult, a woman, a professional
Hmm.
woman, already done. Hey, that word is this way. I just wanted to let you know. And I said,
Yeah.
thank you. Anytime that you find something, I will do the same to you in Spanish. And that
Yeah.
person, I will appreciate it too. As a professional, as an adult, I think it, but when you're a kid, yeah, you have to be careful how you present it because the mind is still forming, trying to find identity,
Yeah.
connection, and thrive.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And I find like, so for myself, I didn't introduce myself earlier, but I am
Oh,
the founder of the Teen Talk program. So I teach public speaking to teenagers, which
yes.
is um, they're a class of their own, right? When you work with teens, and language has changed so much over the decades, right? The language, the wording, the grammar doesn't change, but expressions change as the decades change. But at the end of the day, the foundation of speaking with clarity and confidence always has to come, like, it's a foundational thing. Like, you
Mhm.
cannot get away from that no matter what decade you're talking about. Would you
Yes.
agree?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's underrated for some people.
Yeah.
The skill of communicating effectively. We don't know how powerful it could be, even for a simple interview at work, even to that promotion,
Yes.
the way that you present yourself, that you're so sure what you're talking about, that you just project it in your voice. And I was talking to one of my students the other day because I do some consulting as well about speaking, public speaking. And I was saying, your voice changes depending on the language. And just, it's okay. You just need to be aware when your voice is a little bit, it's, the stronger the intention is because you're speaking this language. It's because you're still
Yes.
hesitant. And it's a journey, you know? And when you don't know the subject, when you don't know what you're talking about, I can hear it in your voice. You
Yeah.
might say, no, do as this. It is communication. And some people, if they know how to do it, they can kind of figure it out how to sound more confident. But you
Yeah.
need to have that skill. So I think it's so important for everything. Some people think, oh, it's for public speaking, for speaking in front of people. No, it could be as simple as speaking to your team, speaking
Yeah.
to your family, speaking
Yeah.
to that, yeah, how I'm going to sit down to talk about that subject, or this is a tough topic but we need to address it. And the context, the place, this, even the place where you're going to have that conversation. And I know that some, maybe in corporate America, they do something like very interesting. They, when they are going to talk about a very specific with somebody, they take it to lunch. They say, let me take you to lunch,
Yeah. We do.
to change the context, to change the
Yeah.
ambience, to make it
Yeah.
more informal. I need to talk to you. It changes. And if you know all of that, because communication is not only what you say, it's everything that comes out of you to send a message.
100%. And
Yeah.
it's not just, I had a conversation with another educator a few weeks ago, and she talked about nonverbal communication. So
Mm.
what we emanate, what we put out there without even saying a word is so, so powerful.
Hmm.
And that's what I've been subtly telling my teens about is what you're telling me when you're sitting in front of me is either you're super interested, you're halfway interested, or you're just not interested at all. And you're saying, Miss Natalie, and I call them out on it, not in a mean way, just in a way so that they are aware. And I feel
Hmm.
like part of my job or part of the tutoring and the coaching I do is about bringing awareness to what you're saying,
Hmm.
awareness to what you're doing, how the other person is seeing you. And because teens, at the end of the day, I say this all the time, they just want to be seen and heard.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
They just
Definitely.
want to be seen and heard. And I know that I was one of those teens that I felt like I was never heard. Um, I would sometimes, go to my room because I was angry with my parents because they didn't listen to what I
Mm.
said. But there's a difference between listening and being heard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I heard you. Yeah, right? So
definitely.
this idea of being heard, and a teacher remarked to me one day at one of the schools I was teaching at, when students put their hands up, and if I'm still speaking, I'll say, I see you, and I really want to hear what you have to say. Just let me finish this.
Hmm.
And go right back to that student right when I'm done. It changes the relationship that I have with the student. There's a greater sense of trust,
Mm.
um, and they buy into what I have to sell. Not that I'm selling, but
Hmm.
they're buying into what I see. What I would love to hear from you. Like, what do you feel like are some of the challenges right now in communication with? I mean, I'm going to talk specifically about teens because that's where my area of expertise is. But what are some of the things that you've noticed that are the challenges right now?
Well, we have so much information everywhere. So we are bombarded left and right. And this
Yeah.
generation had more information in the tip of their, hands, in their hands, than
Yes.
any other generation. in the world. So that could go both ways. It could go to
Mm-hmm.
a place that they are so consumed with what they're having in their hands, information, that they are not able to order a pizza on the phone,
Right?
or just go to the supermarket and have a conversation with the cashier. Hey, how you doing, Andrea? How are you? How's your day? That's like, wow. It's because they are not used to it, because that's the way we are now. Everything is so digital that just to order a pizza, just to order something so simple that it was just to make a phone call. Hey, I want half pepperoni, half and cheese. It's not it's not done anymore. It's like something that is like not part of the normal culture. So I think so important that we cultivate soft skills, being able just to have a simple conversation, and you have sometimes to do it intentionally. I think that's a challenge that we have with the next generation, is to be able to just have
Mm-hmm.
simple conversations. And it goes from just something at school to even dating or getting married. You
Yeah.
have to have that connection, that conversation. And one thing that I think we need to work more on is listening, just paying attention. You were saying us about being heard.
Yeah.
That is so important. Sometimes we don't understand that listening is one of the important skills in a conversation, because we need to understand, digest what you're telling me to be able to respond. We are sometimes so very ready to respond when we are defending ourselves, but we are need to listen to the other person. What is the other person saying, and understanding and
Yeah.
pausing. We are like sometimes,
Yeah.
because we are like, let me tell you what I think. So I think soft skills and also listening.
We have to listen to we have to listen. What is that expression? You have to listen to respond, not listen to respond, but listen to understand, really is what you
Yes,
have to do.
exactly. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And it's so easy to respond because we are always like not in the moment. One of my students did a whole talk about living in the moment, which I
Mm.
thought was quite ironic in her generation, that they are consumed by their phones. And we have to flow with technology. It's there for a reason. There's a way that it can be used. And I'm a big, I throw people off all the time because I'm like, "Doot, doot, 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 doot. Hello." And they're like,
Oh,
she's calling
somebody.
me. I'm old school. I'm always like, I'm old school. I just pick up the phone because you can solve so many things so much quicker
Let me tell
through
you what I
this
think about.
calling,
Yeah,
yeah, than the texting. Sometimes I can text for only so long, and then I'm like, okay, I need to talk this out because
exactly.
it's just going to be quicker. It'll be easier. We'll get everything done.
Yes, and I've
Um,
I've learned something about texting that I'm still working on. Is sometimes when you get a text, it depends how you receive it.
mm, yeah,
It's so interesting, because maybe that person was just saying, I'm not going to the party, just simple. And maybe you felt it as, I'm not going to that party.
yeah.
And it was
There's
just a
no tone.
text. It's like
Yeah,
something, it's like how you receive it. So you have to be so careful. What are you texting? Is this a conversation for a text, or is a conversation to pick up the phone and have this connection? And sometimes
yeah.
we are using texting too much. So when it's a very touchy, of course, I use emojis to make it softer. Sometimes, I put a heart, I put a kiss, because I'm saying
Yeah,
something that I don't want them to take. Hey, I need
the
that
wrong
paper.
way.
Yeah, I need that document for tomorrow. And then I put like happy hands, because I'm not saying I need that document for tomorrow. I don't want them to take it that way.
Yeah.
And so I've been using emojis sometimes.
I've been taking to voice clipping.
Voice clipping,
I
yes.
I voice clip it a lot because I feel like then they really hear what I'm
Vibe.
saying
Uh-huh.
as opposed to just writing it,
Yes.
because the emotion and the tone that's in the message, that's where the confusion lies sometimes. And
Yes.
you don't want that at all, at all. Okay,
Exactly.
so more listening, that's a key one. I really like that one. I think for me, one of the things that's important with teens right now is that they be seen and heard. So giving them the skills, the soft skills in all different areas. and that they can sort of culminate that and pick the pieces that they need at the right times.
Mm,
Because when I started my business, I created a quote, and it goes a little something like this: every opportunity is a speaking opportunity. How
wow.
will you seize it?
Yes. Oh, that's
Because every time you show up somewhere, you need to communicate. And when my
mm,
daughter was about 3 or 4, when we'd go to Starbucks and she's like, Mommy, can I have a cookie? I'm like, sure, go to the counter. I said, you go to the counter and you say to the hello, how are you? And I coached her. And I
yes.
had a friend say to me, how can I get my son to do this? And I said, well, you just have to tell them what to
Coach.
do. They
Yeah.
need to know. They don't know. It's not their
They don't
fault.
know. I used to
They
drop
don't
my
know.
son to my son. I used to drop him at the supermarket when he was like 10. And I said, you go grocery shopping for me. And he looked at me the first time like, what? Yeah, you're going to buy this and this and this. And here's the money. And they're going to give you change back. And check your
Yeah,
change because you are 10, you can see the
yeah,
numbers and you can check.
yeah,
So I will the first time was hard because he felt like I didn't want to go by myself to do grocery shopping. One thing is to
yeah,
go get something, but I and he got a couple things. It wasn't like a whole shopping list.
yeah.
But yeah, it's so important I like that when you said coaching, because sometimes we want them to do, especially young, like teenagers or even a child. I want you to do this, but give them strategies, give them like a
The tools.
script.
Yeah,
Like a script, maybe how you're going to
yeah,
start, and then how you're going
yeah,
to end, and how you're going to get it done, whatever it is.
yeah.
And then what to respond if the person says
Mm.
something. Don't be, just a couple of strategies. So I like that part that you said. You just didn't send her. You said you're gonna do this
No, we're
and
gonna do
close and
this.
say thank you. Coaching
And
is
now,
so important.
and now we go to the beach here to the restaurant, and she goes sees the waiter, and she
Of course.
orders her whole thing in Spanish, and people sort of look, and I go, yes, but this is part. I mean, and I don't want to shift into the whole parent mode, but as parents, part of our job is to give them the tools. And
Exactly.
it doesn't mean that you're equipped to have, necessarily know that. That's where we come in, the communication
Mm-hmm.
experts, to help you with that. But
Exactly.
to know that it's just a simple thing as showing them what to do. Because as parents, sometimes we do for our kids because we think it's the better option, but it's not always the better option, because
No.
we want to make them independent. We want them to go out on their own and do their thing.
Exactly. Just
So
be so sure of themselves. That's it. That's so important because when
yes,
when a parent does it and empowers the child, there's an extra level. I mean, we're coaches, we
yeah,
do different stuff, but a parent is an extra level of support because it comes from that person that brought you to the world, and
yeah,
you just feel more connected. Like, I am important. I can do this.
hmm,
I can be heard. My dad or my mom told me that I can go and ask for that cookie, and she's right there.
yep,
Yes.
yep,
So it is protected.
exactly.
She feels protected. So yes. Hmm.
Absolutely, absolutely. So do you have any, before we sign off, any like last words of wisdom for people when it comes to communication? Like what do you think that they should know or do?
Hmm. I think being okay with failure. Not every
Mm,
conversation is going to get that result. Sometimes we're so focused on the winning or making it work, but sometimes you learn when it doesn't work, and
yeah.
you just have a story to tell, a lesson, some wisdom, something. So just concentrate on the journey. Oh, I want to get it right. That's not
Mm,
where the lesson is. That's not where the treasure is. It has to be perfect. Yeah,
mm,
we all want it to be perfect, but that's not the journey. It's the journey. The treasure is to do it, to go and have that conversation. And then there's something that clicks in your spirit, in the way that you grow. There's
yeah.
nothing that, if you have that conversation, if you go to do that public speaking engagement, it don't concentrate on it has to be perfect. Concentrate that you're doing it. So be okay with
Yes.
messing up, making mistakes, and failing.
Yep.
Fail hard, fail all the time. That means that you're doing stuff.
Exactly. Ooh, I love that. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. And And I think that, one of the things I tell my teens, that did TED Ed and any other client that I have is if you forget something,
Mm,
nobody knows but you.
exactly, exactly.
So
Yes.
nobody knows that you failed or you feel you failed because they don't even know that you forgot. It's just part of the journey, right?
We forget all
And
the
we
time. I forget all the time stuff and I just keep
exactly, and
going.
as professionals, we forget all the time. My teens don't even they're like, how can you forget, Miss Natalie? I said, because I'm human.
Yes.
I do all the things. I forget sometimes to stop umming and ahhing. Sometimes I forget to stop and structure things so that there's clarity. Sometimes I use my hands too much. Sometimes I don't use them enough. This is part of the whole thing, but it's about having the foundation and doing it.
And doing
So
it.
Daisy, we will put all your contact info in the description, but if the folks want to get in touch with you, what is the best way to reach you?
Well, I have my website, daisycedeno.com, Daisy. Cedeno is Cedeno. I mean, you're going to see it on the bottom.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
you can also go to my Instagram at Daisy Cedeno. Very simple. I was lucky enough to have that. Like, there's people who change it all the time, but I got
Yeah,
Daisy Cedeno. I'm
there
the
you go.
official one. And you can also find me on LinkedIn. I'm using a lot. LinkedIn is for the professionals, for all the stuff that I
Yeah,
do related to broadcasting. And yeah, those two things. Facebook, my
perfect.
Instagram, they're all connected. Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and my website.
Thank you so much. And if you're looking to get some support for your teens because you feel like they could boost their confidence a little bit, get ready and maybe even like create their own TED Ed talk. You can reach out to me at teentalkwithnat.com. You can book a call there. You can visit the website, get to know me a little bit more because my passion is really about empowering these teens to speak their truth, speak up and speak out because there's only only one life and they have to do it now.
Yes, and I recommend
Remember,
her totally. I recommend her.
thank you,
She was
ma'am.
one of my coaches. She's been also, I feel like a mentor as well as I recommend her.
Yes. Thank you so much. And whatever you choose to do, folks, make sure you tune in for the next episode and have yourself a great day. Bye for now. Thanks, Daisy.
Thank you.